Welcome, everyone, to the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District Board of Directors regular meeting. It's Thursday, August 10th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Actually, we're 6:02 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Board Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Director Sailors, Director Weber, Director Sheets, Director Gould. Director Gould is absent for the record. Director Wood.
Here.
Director Rice. Here. Director Jones.
Here.
Director Costa.
Here.
Director Clark.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, next, I'd like to, Director Sheets, would you lead us in a pledge of allegiance to our flag?
The United States of America. We stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It's a Metro Cable announcement. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District will be cable cast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. This meeting is also webcast at Metro 14 / Metro 14 live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays at 6 p.m. on Monday, August 14th, 2023, at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, August 16th on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at YouTube.com/Metro Cable 14. Next, we go to a public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
Art, can you please check the Zoom room?
Do we
have any speakers in the audience?
Attendees, if you would like to present anything to the board at this time, please raise your hand. I'll give you the opportunity to speak. No response.
All right, hearing none, we move on to the consent, the item on the agenda with the consent. Do we have any questions? We have no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Director Jones motions and Director Wood seconds. Call the board roll, please, Board Clerk.
Yes. Director Sailors,
Aye.
Director Weber,
Aye.
Director Sheets,
Aye.
Director Wood,
Aye.
Director Rice,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Costa,
Aye.
Director Clark.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The consent calendar is approved.
Okay. Next month, next item on the agenda, we go to action items. And we have an agreement. That's Chief Adam House and General Counsel Lavra. Will you?
Thank you, President Clark. Yeah, I'm pleased to present to the board tonight the district and Adam House. The terms of the agreement have been previously discussed and made available to the board. If there's any questions about any of the specific terms, I can handle and discuss those questions. I would like to say, as part of this, there was a lot of help and a lot of manpower that went into producing the agreement. I'd like to thank President Clark and Director Weber, who were working with me and working with Chief House on getting this agreement done and getting it down to the nitty-gritty where we could present it to the board. I'd also like to give a shout out to the HR department, Melissa Maddox and Leslie Miller. They were constantly providing me with information at the last minute where I would say, please crunch this number for me and tell me what it is, and I won't contact you anymore. They would give me the number, and 10 minutes later, I'd say, wait, I need one more thing. And they put up with me doing that, and they were able to provide the information to me in a very timely manner, which helped the process happen. And I think we've moved this one along pretty quickly in terms of our history to here today. I'd also like to thank Chief House. He worked with us in getting this done. We worked with him It was a great experience. I think I can say that he's very anxious to get it done. He wanted to get it done sooner, but just the logistics of going through it and getting it finalized and making it so we could present it to the board took a little bit of time. But I know he's anxious and excited and ready to hit the ground running for this district as its new fire chief. And last, I'd like to make a mention to Chief Haverty as his last day in the big chair here. It was great working with him. He's only been here a short time, but he was a man of great character and leadership and was very helpful to me in the legal issues that the two of us had to confront over the time that he's been here. He's one of the good guys, and sorry to see him leave, but wish him the best of luck going forward in the future. So with that, unless there's any questions, I present the contract for the board's consideration.
Thank you, Council. Do we have any questions regarding the contract? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move the recommendation.
Director Wood moves, Director Rice seconds. Board Clerk, call the roll, please.
Yes. Director Sailors. Director Weber. Director Sheets. Director Wood.
Aye.
Director Rice.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Costa.
Aye.
President Clark.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The contract is approved.
Okay, next item is a okay, next we have a presentation item. We have two presentation items, but the first one is the swearing in an oath of office to Chief Adam House. With that, will Chief House, his wife Gia and his son Joshua, please come up to the front with me. Blue dots, blue dots, blue dots. Well, in the badge, Chief. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. All right. There we go. Um, Oh, here we go. There we go.
Out.
Oh, gotta keep you in line. Chief House, it is my pleasure to administer your oath of allegiance. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Adam House,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Okay. Perfect.
To signify this changing of the command, I will now pass you the trumpet. As you know, when American volunteer firefighting companies began to form during the late 18th century, a need emerged for organized efforts and better communications in combating conflagrations. Officers would use speaking trumpets or bugles to amplify their voices over the noise and commotion of a fire scene to direct the company to effectively fight the blaze. Oftentimes, officers called cadence through the trumpets to keep the men on the hand pumpers in time. The trumpet or bugle was worn around the officer's neck so they could easily be identified as they directed firefighting operations. The trumpet or bugle around the officer's neck led to the designation of an officer in the fire department and has been carried on to this day as an insignia of rank worn on the uniform collar. Chief House, it is my pleasure to pass the command of this outstanding organization to you.
You won't play the trumpet.
Thank you, sir.
Good job. My best is success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, we would take it.
Yeah.
Can we get in here? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Okay. That was wonderful, wasn't it? I know Chief Haverty is walking out stage right, but he, I know this board, we can't say enough about his term as an interim chief. He healed a lot of things in the district. And I'm sure that Chief House is gonna take some of the examples and things that he has implemented here in the district. I think it's just, the guy's just wonderful. I can't say enough. I'm sure at the director's comments and questions, we'll say a little bit more about Chief Haverty, but he was such a gem. He's such a wonderful man. Okay, next presentation we have is Sacramento County and District Property Tax Update, and that's CFO Dave O'Toole.
Yes, good evening,
Good evening. welcome.
directors, Fire Chief House, and colleagues and members of the public. Tonight's main event. Just kidding. We'll be talking property taxes. But keeping with the festive mood, it's a mostly good story. So you see the slides are coming up now. So there have been some positive, there have been some unexpected developments, positive ones in the last several months that we thought it would be a good time to come back to the board and update you before you receive the final budget, finance and audit in 2 weeks.
You gotta stay for the whole meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the final audit coming, the final budget coming to you in the second meeting, the first meeting in September, second week. So there's the slides. So let's start with a familiar slide to get a basis of why I'm presenting this tonight. This is the property taxes that will the property tax makeup and of the entire district revenue source. So it's about almost 70%. So we track property taxes very closely for that reason. We're reporting in the bi-monthly fiscal reports, and it's an area we spend a lot of time on when we're presenting budgets to you 3 times a year. The information I'm presenting tonight comes from the county assessor's report mostly, but also some information from our property tax consultant, HDL. So the news the news that the major developments I wanted to share were from the Sacramento County's assessor's report there. And as the value of the assessed properties in Sacramento County, which we call the assessment roll, as of December 31, 2022, reached $232 billion, which was a 7.62% climb over the prior assessment roll, which closed on December 31, 2021. Remember that most property taxes are growth is confined by Prop 13, which caps it at 2%. So there was a lot of turnover in the market, a lot of new home sales, which drove that up to 7.62%. Oops, excuse me. The second bullet there, the primary reason for growth is, again, new construction, residential and multifamily residents. We'll see this more closely in an upcoming slide. And then residential housing market pricing continued upward. So there was housing scarcity, of course, but there was also, it overcame the downward price pressure of mortgage rates creeping up. Consequently, development of new residential lots is accelerating, not decelerating, as we thought it was late in 2022. And if mortgage rates hold, they could accelerate further. Lot development slowed for the first 6 months of the fiscal year 22-23, then accelerated the last 6 months. That's why we're seeing this uptick in forecasted revenue, which we'll look more closely at relative to what we presented in the mid-year and the preliminary budget. So good news ahead. Okay, so this is a slide that was new from the county assessor's office. It's site work permits, but it gets to an important point that important piece of the story today. So this is it shows the number and value of new lots. So generally speaking, the numbers grow from left to right from 2018 to 2023. This is their slide, not mine, so it has the years as the second row, not the top. But you notice that the lots tracked, meaning the new lots reported to the county, grows from in 2018 from about 4,600 gets all the way up to 25,000, almost 25,000. The number of lots enrolled climbs from 3,500 in 5 years to 14,000. And the net enrollment, which is the value of all those lots, has tripled across these years from 130 million to 410 million. And the enrollment per lot, meaning the net enrollment divided by lots enrolled, it has jumped around from year to year, as you can tell. But even if you look at the last 2 years, from 20,000 all the way up to more than 29,000. So a lot of growth indicators here in the housing development market. This slide is from our property tax consultant, and it is, I'm sorry, this one's from the recorder's office. It is showing the median price and the average price since 2021, excuse me, from 2020, glasses on, and it shows it in quarterly increments. And on the left-hand column, you can see the dollar values in $100,000 increments. Again, at the bottom, you can see quarterly increments. And you can watch as we've been reporting property tax growth year over year continued. And then you see the dip, which is really where we started to see mortgage rate increases and prices started to come down. But then at the right, that's the story that we're mostly going to discuss tonight is that uptick at the end. And that really has to do, again, with limited supply and really buyers ignoring the mortgage rate increases. So the prices are still going up. This slide is for perspective, just focusing on housing costs for one more slide. And just for perspective, this slide is a median sold price of existing single family homes around the state in certain regions. And it has data from earlier months and then month to month, year to year. But for our purposes, I would say just look at the first two columns where you can see the region listed or the state category, and then the amount, the median home price. So, we are in the 400 and we're in the Central Valley, where it says 480. In the district, it's about 497 is the median price. So we're a little ahead for that category, but you can compare us to other regions. Inland Empire, 570, the Bay Area, 1.3 million. A lot of variance around the state, and all of it, but all the growth is pretty significant. So coming back to Sacramento, this table shows the change in the number of parcels and property tax values for this year and last year's property tax roll. As you can see, the district added parcels, about nearly 2,600 over the year, about a 1.18% growth in the number of parcels. And then the total property value over the 2 years grew significantly too, 5.4 billion in total value, which is a 6.73% growth. And of course, property values themselves don't neatly equate to property tax increases, but there is a relationship there. So now let's look at the property tax growth. So these are the actual numbers that we've received for the first 3 years and anticipate receiving fully for 22-23, the prior year, and 23-24. So the first 3 years are audited actual, so they shouldn't change. And then in 22-23, the figure has been updated. The 191.7 million, if you will. In the recent reports from the assessor, we gleaned a $2.7 million increase relative to what we'd reported in the mid-year budget and the preliminary budget. When we looked at this before, that number was 189 million. So that's a remarkable change, and it's due mainly to supplemental assessments. So that would be the home sales that happened during the year, or new homes come online and are sold. That's beefing up, that's increasing the size of the supplemental assessment. We saw a lot of that last year. So we're actually got a significant change in 22-23 in revenues, unlike we typically see. Let's see. Yeah, and then if you look at the bottom row, you'll note that the 4.1% increase for 23-24 is in relation to that 191.778 million. And then the 5.5% is also in relationship to that 191.7 million. So our final budget number is a percent, almost 1.5% higher than what we had in the preliminary budget. So, looking at all that, it's hard not to think that your forecast will improve. That's what I thought. And I immediately called our property tax consultant saying, have you seen these property tax numbers? What does this mean for out years? And she threw a little cold water on me and assured me, said, well, that's for, there's still the mortgage rate pieces that need to kick in, and people will adjust their buying habits. So I'll just tell you the long-term growth rate that I presented in the preliminary budget of about 3.5%. I don't anticipate that changing just yet. But I think if you look at some of these facts, we're getting new updates from our consultant every few months or so. So I wouldn't be surprised if things start to creep upward. But I wanted to just give you that little knowledge for the out year projection. So a few takeaways before I close. Again, the Sacramento County had their 2023 property tax assessment roll as of December 31 surged to 232 billion, which was a 7.62% growth over the prior year. Housing scarcity was a stronger factor than mortgage rates in determining residential sales so far. The district will realize a 5.5% property tax gain. That's will be what I will be reporting in the final budget in a couple of weeks. And the forecast beyond 23-24 is still for growth near 3.5%. But of course, we'll keep an eye on that. And, the builders could surprise us and that number goes up even further. And that is, this is a presentation item only for information. I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next we go to reports, President's report. I don't have anything to report. Next, we are gonna go to the new fire chief's report. Welcome.
President Clark, directors, colleagues, local 522, family, friends, and members of the public. I can't express my thanks and gratitude for the trust and support. I'm truly, truly humbled, and I'm proud for 23 years now to wear this patch on both of our sleeves. We have a fantastic organization because of you and all the men and women that work in this organization. I cannot be more sincere in stating just thank you. Meetings. I attended Rancho Cordova 2x2 on August 2nd with directors Wood and Jones, Chief Haverty, staff, and we topics of discussion for that meeting were year-to-date call volume statistics within the city of Rancho Cordova, an overview of how the 4th of July went with our response on fireworks and enforcement specifically. We talked about river rescue capabilities and how we can collaborate and work together with the city of Rancho Cordova and County of Sacramento. We also discussed a topic with a partnership with Metro Fire and the city working with homeless and the outreach programs that they have done right now. And we're going to look forward to having a collaborative effort with them on that. On August 3rd, Kyle McDonald and I attended the annual Citrus Heights elected officials reception. On August 8th, Kyle McDonald and I attended the Citrus Heights Chamber luncheon. Retirements. I'd like to congratulate engineer Holly Wagner on her retirement on July 31st after 16 years of service. Promotions. Congratulations to Jake Bruzetta for being promoted to captain effective August 11th. And I believe Jake is in the audience. Can you come up front real quick? I would just like to start maybe a new tradition for the board after hearing you for specifically the last 8 months, but really over the entire 23 years of my career. And when we have opportunities to present promotions, I'd like to put a face to that promotion to you and recognize that promotion. This is where we can't speak more highly about our members and the commitment and dedication that not only our members are giving to make the public safer and better, but the commitment that their families have to sacrifice during those promotional opportunities to prepare for those tests. So Jake, Captain Bruzetta, congratulations and thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Board.
And this concludes my reports. Thank you again. Extremely humbled. I'm excited to work with you.
We're excited too. Not only that, the Chief House is the 7th chief. That's a lucky number of Metro Fire. So keeping the tradition up. Very good. Next we go on to, we didn't have any questions for the chief, did we? No. Okay, thank you. Next we go on to our operations report. That's Deputy Chief Mitchell. There
Thank
he
you,
is.
President Clark. Good evening, directors, Fire Chief House, members of the community, peers, old Metro Fire employees and new. It's good to see all of you. It's been a few years for seeing some of you. It's great to see you in the house tonight. So a few items on the operations report. First off, I'd just like to express heartfelt congratulations with the new fire chief, Chief House, being in your position. Really excited about what we're gonna be able to do together. So congratulations, my friend. First off, back on the evening of July 28th, our units responded to a fire in a large hangar out at McClellan Park. It did end up going to 2 alarms. It's one of those incidents that's, you know, the hair raises on the back of your neck because it's not something we do every day. And when you hear things about a huge building like that being filled with smoke, it really kind of sets your awareness level higher. So I'm happy to say that our crews overcame the complexity of the building size and the construction. They mitigated the fire. And then McClellan Park's representation out there, we work closely with them and we're able to manage that incident well, limit that damage. Fortunately, there wasn't a huge dollar loss as it would have been if it was in service because it was under remodel. So there was no aircraft inside, but men and women did a great job out there to mitigate that incident. I think the big takeaway for that is that all the crews, or at least most of the crews that responded to that fire, attended an after action review today out at Station 114. It was great to go out there and see all those members really taken away from one of those incidents we don't do very often. Some good learning points about what went well and what we can do better next time as we talk about commercial firefighting tactics versus residential firefighting tactics. So it was great to see that. Secondly, another proud moment, Sacramento County OES hosted a day-long large-scale disaster drill yesterday, utilizing FEMA as an oversight. It involved mitigation of a multiple wildfire incidents throughout the county, as well as a full-scale EOC activation. And it was across the board from county, local, city, state, and federal folks were in the room. And so it was a great learning opportunity. And I'm very proud to say 7 of our command officers attended that drill, which was more than any other agency that was in attendance, which was great for them to build relationships, but also to understand the difference between emergency operations in the field and what happens in an EOC for support of those large-scale incidents. And selfishly, we also have 7 new chief officers that we can put at the EOC if we have an incident that requires the activation. So gives us some depth on the bench, which is really good. And then finally, Chief House mentioned it, our collaboration with the city of Rancho Cordova. This last Monday on August 7th, myself and Chief Perryman attended the homeless outreach team meeting, the HOT team meeting over at the city hall. It was led by some of their code enforcement folks. It was a great turnout. We had public works, probation, code enforcement, non-governmental organizations that help support the homeless in the community that were in attendance there. A great meeting. It was Chief Perryman spoke of the opportunity that our MIH can provide, and I don't want to take that away. They're going to come up here in just a minute and give you some highlights from what they've been working on. But it was awesome to see, and we've already had some follow-up discussions with them to address some of their questions and what we can do to help them and how they can help us manage these issues. And also connecting them with our CRRD folks to get some of those answered. And then further follow-up, looking forward with the MIH piece to know how we can integrate and collaborate and be proactive in approaching that issue that's out there to help some of those folks that are unhoused in the community. So with that, I know they're back here somewhere. There's Chief Rudnicki and Chief Perryman. I'd like to ask them to come up and just give a couple more highlights about what they've been working on in EMS and some of the exciting things that are coming up here. So, oh, and Dr. Schmaltz is here. He surprised me. Sorry, Doc.
Good evening, President, directors, Chief House, congratulations. Members and guests, thank you for being here. My name is John Rudnicki. I'm the Assistant Chief and the Director of EMS. And joining me tonight is Battalion Chief and MIH Director Scott Perryman, who you've met before. And I also wanted to introduce you to our Medical Director for both Metro Fire and our MIH program, and that's Dr. Alex Schmaltz. We had a call in our district last week that's prompted us to give you a quick update on the status of your district and our district. There's common themes and issues that commonly arise and frequently hit our area, but also the nation, the state, and our county on a much higher level. So the opioid epidemic and problems with fentanyl on our streets and the problems it's causing is something that hit closer to home this last week. It's something that our men and women deal with regularly, but we had a particular call of interest that sparked some media attention and a focus on how we're going to address it. In 2021, nationally, there were over 80,000 opioid overdose deaths. The nation is seeing a dramatic increase in those events. In fact, the CDC noted a 38% increase in these deaths from 2019 to 2020. To highlight and give you a quick brief on that call we had, Chief Perryman is going to give you a quick overview.
Thank you. Recently, News 10 came out and interviewed Metro Crews about this fentanyl issue and about this call. It was last week that Engine 41 and Medic 111 responded to a 9-month-old that required CPR and other life-saving measures. This child required 2 doses of the life-saving drug Narcan to reverse the fentanyl overdose in their system. The news report continued that on July 21st, just 2 weeks prior, there was 2 people who died just hours apart in what appeared to be 2 separate fentanyl overdoses. The ages of those individuals, 16 and 46. Fentanyl is so powerful that just 3 grains of rice, that amount is enough to kill an individual. Luckily, there's a medication called Narcan that can reverse the opioid overdose. Our EMS crews have this medication. We use it often. The link of this news report will be provided to you by the end of this evening, and there's more information to follow.
The good news is that the 9-month-old discussed in this report is expected to survive. By actions by our crew and the team that was there, they were able to sustain that life and help her out. It was a partnership effort, and we had Sacramento County Sheriff Deputy Anthony Smith, along with Deputy Vadim Solovyev, along with Engine 41 crew, Captain Terrence Manley, Engineer Ryan Bridges, Firefighter EMT Michael Diamond, Firefighter Paramedic Artur Plotka, Medic 111 Firefighter Paramedic Alexander Danielski, along with Firefighter EMT Ryan Braun. These types of calls are tragic, and involving a child is much more heart-wrenching. So provided to you is a heat map of our district of where these calls occur most frequently to give you a visual of these types of events that our men and women respond to and are faced with having to treat and resuscitate these patients. In 2021, our district had 1,590 overdoses. In 2022, it went up to 1,636. And this year, we're on track to see a 10% increase. So probably the question you have is, what are we going to do about it? And where are we putting our efforts? The first is education. One of the reasons Dr. Schmaltz and Chief Perryman are here is because just next week, there's a Sacramento County Fentanyl Awareness and Action Summit. And this is a summit that is going to have a lot of local leadership along with healthcare providers, hundreds of people to gather together to discuss this. And both Dr. Schmaltz and Chief Perryman are presenting. They're partnering with the county to bring some education. So we're actively involved in those efforts to make sure we get the information out and we work as a region. Secondly is Leave Behind Narcan. So there are some agencies up and down the state where they have an initiative to leave the life-saving drug Narcan behind. And there's lots of efforts around this. Currently, Metro Fire is able to do that through the efforts of our MIH program. We're also working with county leadership at the LEMSA to move forward with a more aggressive plan to make it more readily available. The county and others in our region also have plans in place, and that's why it's crucial we participate in this summit to make sure we have an organized effort and we're part of that plan. In addition to that, the long-term treatment for some patients that suffer with substance abuse or opioid use is there's also other medications that we can assist them with for medication-assisted treatment, or MAT. Again, because we're uniquely positioned with our MIH unit, we're able to follow up with patients who we may be aware of because of a 911 call, and follow up and provide them treatment either with some Leave Behind Narcan or some other medications that can help them navigate their challenges that they're having. Again, very unique because of our MIH program. In addition, we're looking to the future. Our objective is to advocate for our community members, making sure we're looking forward and finding innovative ways to treat and support not only the community, but all the men and women that work here that are faced with running these calls day in and day out. So with that, that's the end of my report, unless you have any questions.
Are you seeing any impacts from negative or otherwise on Narcan that is given prior to cruise arrival is making a difference? Is it inhibiting what they do? Is it interfering with what they do?
Well, that's a team effort is always needed. And that's why I bring the medical professionals with me to make sure we talk about some of those adverse effects. I'm not made aware of them. And in fact, that's part of the initiative with the Leave Behind Narcan is that it can help people in situation and if given at a time where maybe it wasn't needed and the person, the Good Samaritan or whoever has it is doing the best they can, that it's not going to harm the patient. But I would like to defer to my professionals. Alex, would you like to jump in?
First off, I'd like to say hello. I don't know if I've met all you guys before, but it's been an honor working with John and the rest of the team here. So as far as the question that was of note, Leave Behind Narcan makes a huge difference. It's a huge emphasis from the county, from the state, from the feds. And that's all based off of really, really good data that's out there. We've actually seen an increase in the amount of Narcan that's been delivered prior to our arrival. And that's actually saved a lot of lives, turned respiratory arrests, cardiac arrests, CPRs into people that we can then bring to the ER, get treatment, hopefully get plugged in the treatment there. I also work at Sutter Sacramento in the ER there. And I can't count the amount of times that I have seen people come in and they said, the Narcan that I got from the county, the Narcan that I got from this other place, and hopefully more often the Narcan that I got from Metro has saved my friend's life, my daughter's life. And now it's over the counter. So they're trying to break down all of the barriers that they possibly can in order to get that out there in people's hands. One really digestible statistic is that the risk of death in somebody who overdoses but doesn't die that time, the non-fatal overdose, the risk of death in the next year is about 6%. That's higher than the worst forms of heart attacks. And we're basically sending somebody home with a defibrillator and all of that stuff, and all they have to do is squirt it up their nose. So that's an incredibly powerful tool, incredibly cost effective, and I've seen countless anecdotal evidence of how that saves lives.
We see it's obvious we're seeing an increase in the response of fentanyl, and kind of two questions. Is there a long-term look at how this is going to affect the community when we have, Narcan on every corner? And I was at an event just last week where they were giving it away like COVID tests. The concern is, what's the long range look at this when I can do all the dope I want and I'm saved from an overdose right now? It concerns me for our community. And it's out of control. We all know that. And what are we doing in the future to begin to beat this down in our community, besides just giving, Narcan? And yes, it saves lives and it has a place in our community, but it concerns me for our quality of life. What are we doing to uphold that in the areas that we all live in?
Do you want to answer that?
Also, I think valid concern. I think we've all shared the same thoughts, and I know there's a lot of research into that, and that's the value and why it's so important that we have a medical director and others that can see it from that other lens. And Alex, I know you've been part of some of the research and other stats that have happened. So if you have more to add, please.
So I trained in emergency medicine at UC Davis. I had no interest in addiction medicine, and then I saw, through the program they had there, I saw a lot of the power of these medications. The case that got me interested in doing this kind of stuff, and I'm actually sitting for my addiction medicine boards in October. So hopefully we'll have an extra board certification on that. But the case that got me interested in this was, without breaking HIPAA, a college athlete who was an engineer at a very prestigious university, tore ACL, got hooked on opiates. She was incredibly smart, incredibly with it, but these opiates, they hijack your entire system. If you don't use them and you're hooked on them, you get dope sick. You get people use so that they don't get sick after a while. It's not that they're using so that they get high. And so I saw this lady, and we got her started on buprenorphine, which is kind of the long-term medication that the Chief Perryman was alluding to. And that is something that basically takes away all of those withdrawals, takes away all of the high, makes it so you can't overdose. And it's a medication that's very safe, very cheap, very affordable. And that basically allows people to live their normal life. So I kind of look
Like the methadone of fentanyl.
it's like methadone, but way safer, way cheaper, and you can't overdose and you can live your life without any, like methadone, you got to go to the clinic every single morning. You can still get high off methadone. You can't really get high off buprenorphine. It basically just occupies those receptors really strong and they can't get kicked off. And if you take the heroin or the fentanyl or whatever, it doesn't kick it off. So you can't really get high. And you can't really overdose. It can't cause you to go respiratory depression down. But back to that lady, she was a mess when she came in. We got her started on buprenorphine, and she came back in later. She was showing us pictures of her kids. She had gotten a job with the government. She was like, had this great, she was building bridges. Like she's a great benefit to society. And I saw that and I was like, that's a really cool tool. That's a really cool medication. I don't do anything in the emergency department that allows somebody to thrive like that, allows somebody to have their kids around, be part of their family. And so I was like, I want to learn that. Like I want to add that to my toolkit. And so I think that's one of the coolest things about what we're doing, especially with the MIH. We are the only place really in the state that is looking into doing this, like providing that long-term solution. And we're so ready to do that. We have this amazingly talented skill set and group of people that Chief Perryman has trained and done all this legwork. And so now, you know, if we get people who get the Narcan and they live, we give them an option to like not just survive, but to thrive and to get their life back together. And so, you know, that I think that's kind of our next step is right now we're focusing a lot on the Narcan because that's, you know, what we have available. But I think the next step after that is, you know, looking the next little bit down the road, just like you're saying, you know, we don't want to just have Narcan be a stopgap. We want to allow people to get their lives back together and, you know, be moms and be kids and be everything, be, you know, husbands and all those like good members of society that we can then, you know, be like, point to that and be like, that's a success. So
I should have known you guys were 3 steps ahead. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, so what you're saying is not just heroin addicts or people that are abusing fentanyl, right? I mean, that's kind of the perception we get. You know, these are just dope fiends over there trying to, you know, and thank you for that explanation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. That's a great presentation.
Thank you.
Chief. Next, we have administrative report. Chief Bailey is not available, so HR Manager Melissa Maddox will do the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening,
Welcome, Melissa.
directors, Chief House. I want to take this opportunity to formally congratulate you. I know the Human Resource Division looks forward to working under your leadership and serving the district, so congratulations. I don't have any updates from the Community Relations Division or the Finance Division, so I will move on to the HR Division. I'm excited to announce that as of yesterday, we have a fully executed contract with the new third-party administrator for workers' compensation injuries for the district. I do want to thank Local 522 and especially Captain Schollard for working with us through that whole process. It was arduous and we got through it together, and I feel like we're going to have a better TPA out of the entire thing. So the next step from here is to schedule a transition meeting with Intercare. And once that meeting is scheduled, I'll have a better timeline on when this is going to be fully transitioned. We're guessing it's going to be about 60 to 90 days, hopefully sooner than that. But like I said, I will definitely keep the board of directors and Chief House updated on our progress, and hopefully we'll make it through this phase of the project. So, but we are excited to have a new TPA and work through some of our current issues that we are going through. So. Secondly, Human Resources is starting the renewal process for the district's Transparency Certificate of Excellence with the Special District Leadership Foundation. This transparency certificate was part of board strategy number 3 of the fiscal year 15-16 strategic plan. And HR has been keeping it updated every 2 years, just as best practice. And I do want to recognize Leslie Miller in HR, who has consistently kept up on the requirements of the certificate. It is a lot of behind the scenes work, a lot of effort, a lot of coordination with other divisions to gather all the information. And she does it without any, any direction or anything like that. She just takes care of it. So I want to thank her for that. I'll move on to recruitment and backgrounds. So right now, we had paramedic interviews yesterday, August 9th, and all the candidates were successful. Fire mechanic interviews are scheduled for August 29th, and we have 8 candidates that are invited to those interviews. Firefighter paramedic interviews are currently scheduled for August 23rd and 24th. So here in a couple weeks, and we have 47 candidates invited. And that would be the group for a 24-1 academy, which is to be determined as far as the date. We have one arson investigator still currently in backgrounds, who should be done shortly. 2 administrative specialists are currently still in backgrounds for openings in EMS and support services. We have 1 legislative analyst currently going through the process and backgrounds, and we also have 11 paramedics going through the background process right now. So that's the end of report, unless you have any questions for me.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Maddox?
Nope. Okay.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
presentation. Or your report, I should say. Next, we have a sports services report. That would be Chief Wagman.
Good
Welcome.
evening, President Clark, Board of Directors, Chief House, our fellow retirees, as well as lots of folks from the public. Good evening, Tyler Wagaman with your support services report for August 10th. Starting off on our facilities front, Station 105 project is coming along. Certainly taking a lot longer than expected, but a typical government project, unfortunately. But we are making progress. Brand new cabinets have been delivered. I can tell you they were far better than the laminate cabinets that were there before. I look forward to them going up on the walls here shortly. Station 54 received a brand new gate for their Wildland engine. This is an automatic gate, really to speed up the response process so they don't have to manually unlock and unlatch and manually open a gate and close it every single time that they respond with that unit. On Station 32, this is a 2-acre parcel just out on the far end of Fair Oaks. Has a lot of property there, and the landscaping needs a little bit of help. And this is where I want to acknowledge the many crews that send us emails all the time looking to get their fingers dirty and provide a beautification for many projects throughout the district. Specific on this one is Station 32, where we're going to drop ship quite a bit of bark for them to start spreading out, probably 80 yards total. And they're willing to take on this task. It's a much needed project. And I can tell you, without the support of the members of this district, it would be extremely challenging for us to get a lot of these projects done with the money that we have allocated without their support. And at no perfect time than now, because we have an open house that's scheduled for Station 32 on August 19th as well. So my appreciation for the crews at Station 32, as well as all the other crews throughout the district that help out on the facilities front each and every day. Fleet. Positive news from Ford Motor Company. They are actually going to fulfill the government order, which has been on hold now for quite some time. We have no doubt that this is going to have a positive impact on the many orders that we have for our ambulances as well as our squads. And hopefully they continue to produce those after this order into more orders down the road. We received 3 brand new Type 1 engine companies. They just arrived at Golden State from Wisconsin. These engines were scheduled, or actually they were, we had planned for them and allocated funding for them 3 years ago. It took 2 years to complete the buildup, and they have finally arrived with 1 unit already arriving at our fleet. So the next step in the process is to install radios and computers and put all the equipment that's necessary to support a Type 1 engine before it goes out in the field. So we hope the community sees these 3 much needed brand new Type 1 fire engines fulfilling the call within their community here very soon. Fleet Manager Purcell and I will be going back to Fleet or Pierce manufacturing of their fleet division on August 21st. And this is to look at their brand new EV fire engine. It's a full electric fire engine. This is the first of their kind. They're already producing them. Yeah, we receive chuckles all the time, but rest assured with the mandates coming through CARB that we need to be ahead of this. So we're seeing what technologies are out there and available to make sure that we aren't set behind when those mandates start to come. The good news with this fire engine is it looks identical to the fire engines we currently purchase. So it doesn't look like an electric fire engine, and it is a full electric fire engine. And they're telling me that it will perform the same as our combustion engine fire engine. So I'll be happy to report back on our findings after that trip. Moving on to the dispatch front, some very somber news. Unfortunately, unexpected passing of Citrus Heights police dispatcher Dryheed Katie Dryheed. She was one of their 911 dispatchers there in Citrus Heights. So our sincere condolences to the Dryheed family, as well as our strong partner, the Citrus Heights Police Department. Lastly, Chief Haverty, what an amazing person to work with. I learned a lot in a very, very short period of time. I respected him and thought very highly of him when he worked here as an assistant chief, and it only exceeded when he came back as our interim fire chief. I hope he is already on his way to a much needed vacation. And to Chief House, my sincere congratulations to you on your appointment and the House family. I look forward to our ongoing friendship as well as the Metro Fire team. With change comes opportunity. And I can tell you after 26 years in this agency, that Metro Fire thrives with opportunity. And you just heard it with our doctor and what we're doing in the EMS front, as well as every other thing that we continue to do here at Metro Fire. So I really do look forward to the next chapter here with Chief House leading the pack. With that, that concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
Do we have any questions, Chief Wagman? Thank you, Chief. Very good report. Oh, Chief, I had a question regarding the EV. Since we're looking to maybe get some of those engines in the future, what about the training for our mechanics to deal with EV equipment? Are we?
Yeah, that is one of the major reasons why we're taking a representative from Fleet with us.
Oh, okay.
Is so we can start to ask those questions. We have a lot of homework to do. We're just scratching the surface at this point.
Yeah.
But we're ahead a lot of other agencies right now that are also starting to see some of these mandates come through.
Yeah.
I have no doubt this will require a whole nother training scope for our mechanics, as well as anyone and everyone that touches these fire apparatus, as well as the hazards associated with a large battery driving down the street. So again, I look forward to this opportunity with Pierce, and I'll be happy to report back to you on what our findings are.
Very good. Thank you. Hey, next we have Sacramento Metro Fire District Firefighters Local 522, and we have Battalion Chief Matt Cole. Welcome back. Had a little absent. And then we also have Vice President Trevor Jamieson at the podium.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Metro Fire family and friends. Tonight is a fantastically exciting night for our organization, but the fire service is always a balance of challenges and excitement. And so I would ask right now, we have a moment of silence for our two lost brothers from 2881, Brother Bischoff and Rodriguez. So if we could just have a moment real quick, please. Thank you all very much. Information on those services will be coming soon, and we'll be circulating that. So it has been a minute since I've been here. I did get a little getaway. Thanks for calling me out on that. My tan is now fading and I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work. Well, there's a lot of things I could give updates on. The reports from the deputies and Melissa were fantastic. We are very grateful to be working on a number of projects. But I don't really want to report tonight. I want to express some thank yous on behalf of the membership. So first off, I'd like to thank the membership for coming to the room, both active and retired. This is a very exciting time for us to set a path and plot a course with Chief House for a new day. And I'm just so grateful for the membership, all that they continue to give to this community and what they participated in at multiple levels with this selection process. So thank you to my shop stewards, our directors, for getting out into the membership and listening. I truly believe that I and the other electeds are in the room because not everybody can fit. So hearing from them on what leadership qualities we would like to see moving into the future was very important. So thank you to everybody, and thank you to everybody who joined us today and family as well. I'd like to thank the entire Metro family, just not represented. So there was a lot of people that weighed in, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And we're grateful for the information that we got because we could not be happier with the outcome. I'd like to thank Chief Haverty, and he wasted no time getting out of here, did he? But he came in at a very important time. We were juggling a lot of balls, and some of those were crystal balls that we could not allow to hit the ground because I do not believe we would have gotten them back. And without Chief Haverty's leadership, I think some of those might have smashed into small pieces, and that did not happen. And that is a testament to him and the team that he had. So heartfelt gratitude to Chief Haverty, and I'll call him because I don't think he's hearing that right now. But I'd also like to express a significant appreciation to all of you. Thank you very much for the hard work that you put in. I know there's been a lot of conversation, and not just during this selection process, but through the interim and then through the selection process that we had to get Chief House into that seat. Thank you for all the hours away from your families on behalf of the membership here and the communities that you represent. Also, thank you for allowing 522 to be a part of that and be a stakeholder in that process. So thank you to President Jameson and Brian Gonzalez as 522 members for sitting in there, as well as some unrepresented members that were stakeholders. So we did this really as a team. There was a collective lift. Chief House is our fire chief, represented, unrepresented, electeds from the community. We did this together. And like I said, we could not be more proud to see him sitting over there. So thank you very much. Thank you to Gia. Thank you to Taylor and to Josh for allowing Adam to put everything into this process that he did. And thank you for all that is to come. Because there are some challenges. There's challenges nationally, as we just heard with some of the fentanyl challenges. There's challenges within our state with a number of factors. And then there are challenges in our region, and then here locally in our house. And we, as clearly as expressed by the people in the room, we do not believe there is a person better suited to meet those challenges with the experience, the knowledge, the abilities that you have. We could not have a more effective leader in that chair to be able to help us navigate these challenges. And for that, I thank everybody who participated in that. I personally have been through a number of challenges with Adam, and I will call you Chief House after this from now on, but Adam and I are academy mates. So the challenges of going through a tower, the challenges of coming in at a consolidation when we were cleaning bathrooms on an offgoing and an oncoming, like we were trying to figure out what Metro Fire looked like. And we navigated that. We navigated an economic downturn. We navigated what better looks like for the organization. We've not always been on the same side of how to get there, but we both know that we needed to get there. And so challenges are not always easy. It's the hard part that creates growth. I think this organization is stronger and has grown through those challenges. I personally have, and I believe that's what helped you get to be where you are and why you are the right fit right now. So thank you for everything that you have done to get there. And we are very excited to work with you moving forward. So on behalf of represented members, sincere congratulations and thank you.
All right.
So unless there are any questions that.
Is Trevor gonna say anything?
That is a good question. Trevor, you can say.
I don't have a lot to say other than I think tonight kind of speaks for itself. It's truly an honor to be here and represent the whole of 522 supporting Chief House in this process. And again, all of you who are my friends up there and the longtime relationships, thank you. And thank you to our members. Thank you to the community. it's truly going to be a new and exciting time. So appreciate it.
Thank you. That's good to hear. I look forward to a great relationship too. I mean, we have a good relationship. It's just that it's just gonna get that much better.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, do we have any other questions for? Okay, thank you. All right, we're going on to committee and delegate reports. First, we'll start with the executive committee. Our next meeting is to be determined. Communications Center GPA is next. Is that Chief Wagman? Okay, there you go.
Chief Green is on a much needed vacation as we speak.
Okay.
He said the last board meeting was canceled, therefore he has no formal report. And it looks like our next meeting is going to be held on August 22nd, 0900 hours here at the Metro Fire Board Chambers. End of report.
All right, thank you. All right, next we have Finance and Audit Committee, Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance and Audit Committee has not met since this board was last together. Our next meeting will be August 24 at 5 p.m. in this room. End of report.
Okay, that's the end of those. Okay, no questions. Okay, next thing we got is we'll move on to the Finance and Audit, I'm sorry, the Policy Committee, Director Costa.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Policy Committee met today. We had a full agenda. We had an action item and then 2 presentations. So the action item was around purchasing and contracting policy. So it was a cleanup. The committee moved that forward. So the board will be seeing that shortly. The 2 presentations, the first was on a reinstatement policy. And that was for guidelines for employees who voluntarily terminated employment in good standing, giving the ability to come back to their former position. And so we just heard that item. The next item was the finance and planning budget policy, which was an administrative item. However, it was a new policy. So while it was a presentation, the committee did ask that that policy come back to this board for review and feedback. So we'll be seeing that in a future board meeting. Another item that wasn't on the agenda, but we had talked about as a board at the last meeting is just the process for policies. So I think we had an item that came forward that didn't go before this committee. And so we did ask as we move forward that we get a list of all policies and when those policies should be reviewed, be it on an annual basis or otherwise. And we want to make sure that that does come through the policy committee first and give us some indication when those policies are coming so we can then provide feedback to the board. End of report.
Thank you. So finally, we get close to the end here. We're gonna go to board member questions and comments. I'll start with Director Sailors.
First off, I want to just congratulate Chief House. My sincere congratulations to you. I think that this district and this department is moving in a very positive direction now. Thank you to Chief Haverty for stepping in and guiding us into the light. And I want to thank the members for continuing to do their great job out there during this time of change. But I definitely just want to say that I think we're in the light now. Thank you, everyone. That's it.
Thank you, Director. Director Costa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to congratulate you, sir. I'm looking forward to everything that you're bringing in your leadership, and I'm excited. So thank you for taking the time to step up and step into this role. And I'd like to thank Chief Haverty. I mean, one of the most kindest, most thoughtful people, just an amazing human being. I'm glad I had a chance to work with him, and I'm glad he's done a lot of great things for this organization. So I look forward, Chief, you taking that on. And just thank you for the members and the men and women of this organization. You guys do great things every day. It's just so thank you.
All right. Thank you, Director. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. What a quality meeting we have had tonight. This is probably the best, highest quality one I've ever attended in my short time on this board. Talk about successes. And the biggest success, one of the biggest success tonight is a congratulations to Chief Adam House for taking the reins of Metro Fire. Even before your swearing in tonight, we were all working very closely with you to help move this organization forward in the best and positive sense. So starting from the top and I'll work my way down. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I first worked with Chief Haverty back in 1995 on a tabletop disaster for flooding in our region. And I'm privileged to have worked with him in his the beginning of this organization's life. And I was very pleased to be able to work with him recently. And Chief Dan, wherever you are, I look forward to working with you, talking with you in the future and continuing all the positive vibes that you initiated. Thank you to Chief Haverty. And I have to give a quick shout out to the HR report, the MIH, the tax increment update. These are quality issues that put Metro on the forefront of leadership in our community, our region, the state, and for that matter, the federal level. Congratulations and thanks to everyone who has participated.
Thank you, Director. Director Weber.
Thank you, sir. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today and supporting Chief House, the membership, but more importantly, a lot of the retirees for giving up your time to recognize and congratulate a new chapter. We've got a phenomenal opportunity here with Chief House, so thank you first and foremost. Chief Haverty, he was incredible in his short term here. He was able to move the goalpost in a very positive manner on a handful of issues. So a deep thank you to Chief House and senior staff and everybody that has worked on these projects that needed to be worked on and moved forward. So thank you to all of your teams. And then lastly to Chief House. I am extremely excited to be part of this new chapter. The goalposts that have been moved, you now have a foundation. We've talked about this. I'm just very excited to be working with you, your team, everybody that's involved with Metro Fire. We are in a phenomenal place to be great again. So congratulations to you. Look forward to working with you and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Director Rice.
Good evening. Adam, I just want to say congratulations. And it for me, it goes back to Double Ot 2, being a drill instructor. There was something about you in that class. You started in a leadership role as a class leader, and you really never gave that up through the course of your career. And a lot of people left, but there's a couple things that were said to me over the course of this year by members of the department, by other leaders. And one of them, I remember Dr. Rossiter. When I came on this board, he said, and everybody knows I'm a union guy. I'll die a union guy, always. But he said, are you going to be a pushover? No, I'm not going to be a pushover, but we'll do what's right. And Steve, I never forgot that. And then as I look out, I see Jim Honeycutt out there. And I see the guys that raised me in the fire service. John Buchanan's back there somewhere. Roy, you're not that much older than me. Brian Wall is, but I just want to say this, Adam, although there's a lot of new members here, the foundation that you stand on right now, Roy Mitchell, but you're too young, was built by these guys that raised a lot of us on this job. I see Rich Klinke. I could, if I missed you, I just totally apologize because my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. Do not forget these guys. They built this agency as it stands today. Metro Fire, Chief Martinez, Rick was here. I think he stepped out, but you remind me of a combination of Dale Paulson and Rick Martinez. And I think that that speaks very highly to you and your character and their character. And then as we move forward, I listened to and I heard from a lot of members of this department, firefighters, captains, engineers, and I heard from community members too. And this is a challenge to all of us. There were several people that competed for this job and they did great. You have got a team and a half to lead and build from. But where I'm going with this is if you work for Metro Fire, we all now have a responsibility, and I don't ever want to hear any complaint about our fire chief, because it's not all going to be rainbows and unicorns. He's going to have to make some hard decisions. Maybe not this week, maybe not this year, but he's going to face that. You all will. And this is what I expect. I'll stick with him. I'll stick with you, but we all damn well better stick together. And that's a challenge for all of us in the future. This is historic. Adam House came to employment with the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire Department. He is the first fire chief of this organization, and starting with this organization. And we need to support him, and we need to support his leadership team. And we need to put all the BS that we think we know behind us. And today is a new day. We rally behind our boss, and we rally behind the community that we serve. And by the job that you all do, you will make him successful. And I know you'll do it. I'm proud of each and every one of you. What a Sentinel Day, and just honored to sit here and be a very small part of it. So Adam, Chief House, congratulations. And to the members of Metro Fire, really congratulations to you too. I think that you have a very fine leadership team here. Follow them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Wow, I don't know. That's a heck of an act to follow.
Sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. Much appreciated. Director Wood.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate you putting me in that spot. Everything's already been said. I just want to extend a big thank you to Chief Haverty. He was the right soul for this time. And he did everything he did was absolutely wonderful. Appreciate all of his time and his commitment to this organization. Chief House, congratulations. Look forward to this. You've got an immense responsibility, but you've got all of our confidence, and we know it will be a good run for you. So we look forward to working with you. On a personal note, just lastly, I want to say thanks to Danny Martinez, Captain Martinez, and the crew at 62. It's been a few weeks, but I did get the chance to spend some time with them, and I want to thank them for their hospitality. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Director.
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to go after him, but the energy tonight is just fantastic. Just a couple of things. I do want to congratulate Holly on her retirement and Jake on his promotion. Also, absolutely great operations report. EMS is my passion. And I think that, you know, Director Rice said it, we're 3 steps ahead, and we have to be, because we have to be. It is such an important thing for our community, but also for our hospitals who need to provide that care, and the right care at the right time at the right place is so important. And so just want to say thank you. And that was just a fantastic report. Also want to, you know, express my gratitude for Chief Haverty. This short time that he's been here, he's just been a fantastic role model, giving us guidance. The leadership has just been fantastic. And Chief House, so excited. I've worked with you for many, many years, and just excited to be on a different level working together. And I just think that the excitement is palpable. And so congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Chief House, did you all know that Chief House is all Metro? You know, he was born in this. I mean, you were born in this community, right? You were raised in this community. You've been with Metro all this time. That's all Metro, you know. So, and I'm also very excited. There's not a heck of a lot I can add to the conversation from my fellow directors, but Matt Cole was talking about challenges that we are going to be facing, and I think we're very well equipped with our personnel to meet any challenge that comes before us. So, and with your guidance and your leadership, I'm so optimistic, I don't know what to do, you know? So, and finally, I want to give my condolences and also prayers to the people that are fighting those fires in Maui. It's tragic. I've been in Lahaina, as most of you probably have, and it's really tragic to see a place like that burn down, but that's kind of what's going on. I want to extend my condolences, also my prayers to those fighting those fires over there. And with that, let's see, the next board meeting will be, a regular board meeting will be August 24th at 6 p.m. Having no further business, I call this meeting adjourned. And thank you all for coming.